I think the common mistake junglers make is probably trying to do too much. You're gonna eventually get fucked over by the enemy jungler. You can't be top lane and bot lane and mid lane at the same time.
They are young. They earn a lot of money. And they are famous all around the globe for playing a game. This is the official podcast of a professional esports team. These are the ESPORTS ROCSTARS. And today we are going to show you how to become a professional League of Legends jungler. My name is Fred, I am ROCCAT's multimedia producer, and it's a pleasure for me to announce my co-host. He is ROCCAT's head of social media and well known as the ROCCAT Reddit guy. Welcome, Tien.
Hello.
We are located in Germany, in the beautiful city of Hamburg, in ROCCAT's headquarters, and we will now summon a connection to Berlin, to the ROCCAT gaming house, and we say hello to ROCCAT's team captain and jungling ace. This is Jonas El-Magishi. Memento, hi.
Hello. Nice to be on the show again. It's been quite a while. The last time I was on this show was in spring, right?
Yes.
Did you do any other podcasts since then?
Yeah, I mean, I did one with Riot, the one Euphoria. But other than that,
cool.
I've been faithful, man. Like,
Oh, you were on the Euphoria podcast?
yeah, Euphoria. Yeah, it was last week.
Oh, okay, I missed
there.
that. I broke my head.
What, you missed it? It was such a great episode.
Was it good?
It was,
I need to really.
Yeah, it was more than good. I mean, I was on it. It was like.
Did you praise the
was,
ROCCAT products?
Yeah, of course. I was selling out harder than anyone else.
I said like
in every sentence one was hidden. Nice.
Yes.
Memento, we don't do the 10 questions today because we already did them in our last episode when we were talking with you in our very, very first episode. Today we want to talk to you about the topic how to jungle.
The art of jungling.
The art of jungling. Oh, that's good. The art of jungling. That would be a cool episode title. Yes. Yeah.
I mean, it's such a big,
Yeah.
It's so generalized because
Big
like
topic.
how to jungle, it's different from every single elo and how to play it. But I would say the basics of jungling is just taking two of your buffs and just assisting you and ganking all the laners.
Okay, let's structure it a bit, okay?
Yeah. Okay, so in this podcast, Tien is a bit like our esports expert. I am a bit like the one who's talking for the noobs, so I always want to take the people with us that are not professional esports players, and so I give you a very basic question. What is jungling for you? Not what is jungling when you read it up at a website, at, I don't know, Lolpedia or whatever. What is jungling for you?
I think jungling for me is having the power to affect or change the course of the game and being able to have such a big impact. That's like kind of why I chose jungling, like the main jungle in the beginning, because I think it's the best role if you want to have a huge impact. And it's also that you can play chess with the enemy jungler, like outpath him, and you can read everything he does. So I just like these kind of mind games. For me, jungling is just fucking, I don't know.
Yeah. Can you explain the jungle position for like a complete noob who never played League of Legends? Like just a definition of a jungler.
So jungling is basically you're hiking in your jungle, and then you have like three laners or three people, let's say like three destinations, and all of them are like on the top of the mountains, like screaming help. And you're like down at the forest, and you have to like somehow you need to climb up the mountains. But the problem is you only have the gear to climb up for one mountain, so you can only help one lane. But there are three lanes, there are three mountains here, and you only have the gear to climb up on one. So you have to choose really wisely. And while you're climbing up one mountain, the other mountain people are gonna be yelling at you, saying that you're climbing the wrong mountain, you piece of shit. So I would say jungling is just it's like a third lane or a fourth lane, except that you're playing PvE and you're not facing any opponents except the enemy jungler, but he's also in his forest. So I really don't know how to explain jungling.
That was the first time I hear this analogy for
That's
jungling.
cool. I like it. It sounds
that's like if people,
very entertaining. Yeah,
Mountain climber.
and that's a good picture. I think that's a very good picture. Nice.
How long did you thought about this picture?
I legit just made it up, man. It's just on the go.
Really? It's nice.
Yes, I just legit just thought about it now. But I don't know how to explain jungling for like a noob, because jungling for me is like so complicated, you know. But like I've already gained so much knowledge about the jungle, so I've understand it on another level. But like to explain it to a noob is like, you're like a fourth lane who's farming your own jungle camps and trying to assist your laners. How about you're a free spirit, you know? Like you can do what you want.
You're the X factor.
Yeah, the X factor. That's pretty good. Like the jungler is the X factor. He can be anywhere. He can do what he wants.
He's the dynamic factor in the static setup.
Yeah, exactly. The jungler can get you out of sticky situations, bad lane matchups, or whatever you need, and that's kind of like the jungle role.
So why did you choose this position?
Mostly because, I had to choose between like mid lane or jungle, and I just felt more comfortable playing jungle. And I always, at least back in the day, season 4 or 3, that's when I started maining jungle, I think. And then there was like a lot of mind games, and you could play these carry junglers, and you could always like outpath the enemy. And I really enjoy like playing these kind of chess games with the enemy jungler and the enemy team, and also having such a big impact on the game.
Or is it because you CS really badly?
Yeah, that was also one of the... But actually, you know, I was a Yasuo main before it was meta. I was a Yasuo main in season 4, and I was destroying every kid in mid lane. I was just taking Raptors. Actually, there was Wraiths back then. But yeah, I was just destroying every mid laner. But unfortunately, I only had one champ to play.
So did you play him in jungle as well when you get jungle?
I tried a couple of games. Didn't go too well. I got reported for those games. But... you know, I tried my best. But I think he needs to stay in mid lane.
Was it a really, really clear decision for you? So I was born to be a jungler, or did you struggle with that decision?
At the time, I was just playing for fun, like playing League of Legends. So I was just playing a lot of Yasuo mid, and then if I got... You know, back then, there was no lane assignments. You can be like, hey,
you have to call it
out in chat.
Mid or feed.
So sometimes... Yeah.
You were the mid or feed guy, right?
Yeah, no, not really. I was like mid lane or jungle, you know. I had to know 2 roles. So sometimes I got jungle or I got like Phil, and sometimes people kept me hostage and like, hey, you go mid lane, man. I'm not going there. So I just picked up like Yasuo. And
maybe explain to Fred. So before you had to...
What?
I explained to Fred how the system works. So nowadays you can put in like 2 lanes you want to play.
Yeah.
And it kind of matches you with the people who play the other lanes. Sometimes you get auto-filled and you have to play whatever is there. But back in the days, you just get into queue. Yeah. Randomly, one is first pick, one is second pick.
It was totally open.
So everyone chat like, hey, I need to play this. But if you...
Until which season was that system?
No, the order was... so first pick chooses whatever the role he wants, man. Like this guy is God on your team. And you know, if you're 5 pick and you're like, hey, I'm a mid lane main, and your first pick is like a jungle main, he's like, hey, fuck you, man. I'm going mid lane, and you can't do anything about it. Because this guy is picking first, man. He has all the power.
Didn't he also had all the bans too?
Yeah, he also had all the bans. So he's like, you guys are my hostages, and I will choose to do what I please.
So if you like the last pick, you have to play what's left. Yeah. And then there were people who were like, oh, mid or feed.
The old dark days of anarchy. Yeah.
I mean, it was good times, but also there were a lot of bad times. Oh my God,
it was so toxic. But yeah, okay, keep going. So what was your first experience as a jungler? Like you remember your first game where you dominated in jungle and you were like, oh, this position is for me.
It's so many games, honestly. I think
So
I can't remember any game specifically. I think Lee Sin was meta back then, and I just remember like Lee Sin was such a fun champ, man. This champ came out in season 3, or was it 2?
No,
I'm not 100%
there was
sure.
way
I think
before.
season
No,
3.
it was. Wasn't it already in season 1 beta? It was the first
Wait,
April.
maybe.
It was the first April Fool's joke.
Wait, when did Lee Sin come out? Yeah, it was the first champion that like really
No, it was
release date.
It was
2011. It was. Oh my god! It was
beta.
actually first season. Yeah.
It was an April Fool's joke.
Oh yeah, I
Did you know
remember
that?
the one with he's like blind all the time.
No, they did.
was like
They
the meme.
showed the champion spotlight as an April Fool's, and
Yeah.
everyone is like, "This is way too overpowered. There's no way this is gonna get released."
No, but they did like Lee Sin's passive is that he's really he's blind, you know, and then his Q like he goes all the way into the base and one shots everyone. His E gets a pentakill. Like it was so funny. It's
Yeah.
just an April Fool's joke. But
Season
anyway,
3.
so Lee Sin was meta back then. He was like so overpowered. Like this champ was so insane. Like this guy could W to minions, shield them, and his E did like a shit ton of damage. His ulti just one shot everyone.
But
and his E also
Xin Zhao
slowed
was
down
worse.
people's- Yeah, his E also slowed down attack speed for the
Yes,
enemy.
but-
Now it only slows them.
But you remember Xin Zhao when he was
Xin Zhao?
released?
Or what did you say, Xin Chao?
Yes,
Yeah. Xin Chao was actually the first champion I mained.
when he was overpowered.
Wait, you're cutting out. I can't hear 100% what you're
Okay.
saying.
When Xin Zhao got released, he could like
Yeah.
1v9.
Yeah, pretty
You
much.
remember the
I mean, I
times?
remember the champ. It was just. Wait, I need to remember what exactly he did. I know his Q was still the same. His W was like attack speed buff and then life steal.
I
And then his
think
E was still jump in, but his ulti was different. I think his ulti was. What was his ulti? I can't remember what it was.
Man, it's
it
such a
he-
long time with this game. I mean, if you look at screenshots from back in the days, you're like,
You two
how-
are a bit like veterans, like old men talking about the war in those days.
I mean, look at the graphic. Look at the graphic. It was war,
Yeah.
What does his ulti do actually?
wasn't it?
Oh my, this
Wasn't
champion
it-
spotlight is the worst, man. They are showing when his ulti is like down. You can't even see what it does.
Wasn't it like invincible? That he was invincible for a few seconds?
Invincible?
Yeah.
Oh my god, but it was not that broken, no?
Yeah, it was freaking broken, and I think you could buy like
No, it like
bloodthirsters.
gave him extra attack speed or something.
I think. I just remember you get bloodthirsters like 2 or 3, and then you just heal up
Yeah,
everything.
guys, this is getting a bit too detailed, man.
Okay.
So,
But,
let,
hey,
Okay.
so let's
Sorry.
get back to the topic.
Okay, so when you ranked up to level 30,
Yep.
did you try out jungle?
After 30? No, I tried
No,
before,
before 30,
then. I think
when you
you
leveled
can have
up.
smite at level 12 or something.
And you
back
know
in the
how
days.
brutal the
But
old
yeah, but you
jungle
didn't
was.
have any runes. That was the problem.
So you could only jungle with 2 champions, you remember? Warwick and Fiddlesticks?
Yeah.
'Cause they
Yeah,
could
but I
heal.
didn't play jungle back then. Then I played top lane. Season 1 to 3, I just played top lane. And top Vladimir, top Warwick, top Cho'Gath. I was just playing these kind of champs. It was at season 4 or season 3, between season 3 and 4, I had started playing a bit more jungle with Lee Sin and Xin Chao and like some champions. And that was at the time when I wanted to go pro, so I just had to decide one role to main. So I just decided to choose jungle, and it's because I felt more comfortable in the jungle than I did in mid lane. Because mid lane I only played one champ, and that was Yasuo. But in jungle I played multiple champs like Udyr and whatever champ that was viable, even Volibear.
So Memento, let's get serious. My objective in this episode is to give like a guide. Every listener out there has to get at least one very hot tip or one very useful information. How can I
Okay.
become a great at jungling?
Well, I think becoming great at jungling is. I mean, at first, it depends what elo you are, but I think at first it's just about cheesing. That's like a great jungler. It's like level 2 ganks mid lane or level 2 ganks bot lane. That's like on lower elos, you know, where it always works. If you want to climb really fast and you want to, like, you just do this cheese where you take like red buff, you level 2 gank mid, and then just run to every lane and just perma gank. And 100% you'll just have success like that.
So until which rank does it work?
It works all the way to probably to master tier. But yeah, it's pretty much. But if you on a serious note, if you want to become like a really great jungler, it's mostly about a great jungler understands his laners, like what they need, and if you understand like matchups, how can you mess up the enemy team? Like if you know they have like a carry top lane, and you can like destroy their win condition. That's kind of, if you understand lane matchups and you know like at what time you can gank, then you can become like a really great jungler. And also the best thing about jungle is if you can know where the enemy jungler's position is. That's when if you can read where he will go and you can counter it, like counter gank or just kill the enemy jungler basically. If you know he's gonna be at the crab or he's gonna be at the blue buff level 3 or so. If you can be able to read the enemy jungler's pathing, that's how you can become like a really good jungler.
So I think we need to separate between a solo queue jungler or a LCS jungler, right? Since it's such a
Is it really that different?
Yeah, it's a lot different. So
yeah, that's the thing.
So we should go solo queue, right?
Works.
We should go with solo queue. I mean, that's more relevant for the listeners.
I think so.
Okay, so stuff like do you maybe look out like who is the biggest tilter on the enemy team and then just perma gank him so he tilts and
I think there's like a website you can go to now, and then you can just check like who's on a losing streak on enemy team and on your team as well, and then you can just choose your target or choose your victim and just perma gank
evil,
this guy
man.
until I mean, that's what people. I mean, I don't do it, but I mean, other people.
But
used
it
to do
works.
I mean, I did it maybe once or twice.
This is so mean. It's like,
but a lot of times you're like, it's not really, you know, like a lot of times you see, enemy top lane is really tilted. Let's gank this guy, and sometimes you try gank him so hard that you end up just, messing yourself over, and then you pretty much lose the game. But I think it's a valid strategy, like playing mind games, seeing who's on enemy team is tilted, who you know is gonna tilt from a level 2 gank or so. But also, I think best thing to do in solo queue is just, it's mostly just about knowing what the enemy jungler will do if you're a jungler yourself. Like understanding, the enemy jungler, he will probably go, red buff into crab. I could probably kill him as crab if I hide on this bush. It's more about just countering your jungler's pathing. Like your enemy jungler, what he's gonna do. Oh, he's gonna gank top now probably. I could hide here and I could kill him. And that's kind of how you win solo queue, I would say. So just like outpath him in a way.
So how do you determine like if you win a 1v1? I mean, it's based on the champion, I guess. But like, let's say like 2v2. How do you determine you will win this 2v2 for sure?
I mean, mostly I just think of it in my mind, like how the matchup should go. So if I'm playing like Kindred and I have Camille on top lane and we're facing maybe, I don't know, Renekton and Trundle. And I would just think like, okay, Renekton and Trundle, if they get close to me, they'll just one-shot me. If they focus me instead of the Camille, then we lose the 2v2 really hard. And it's more like, it's just a mechanical fight, kind of. But there are some matchups where you know, like for sure, hey, we win this 2v2 really hard. Like if you have Yasuo Gragas, I guess. Like early, we lose 2v2 in mid lane, so I don't want to look for that. But honestly, I think you should not think about 2v2s in solo queue. That shit really doesn't matter because it's never a 2v2. Just if you see a chance, just go for it. Honestly, that's the best way to play solo queue. Like if you see a laner is overextending, just go for it. Like just try. That's how I climb like so high elo all the time. I just see a chance and I just try, If I see enemy top laner is overextending, it's kind of disrespectful in a way, but I think you have the luxury to do that if you're lower tier. Just if you see a chance, just go for it. If you see a top laner is overextending, go gank. Just try.
So you always rather gank than farm your jungle?
No, you can farm as well. Like there has to be a balance. That's the thing about jungling. That's what makes jungling so different from every other lane, Because laning is like really simple. Hey, one wave comes, we eat this wave, we clear this wave, we get this much gold, we get this much experience. But in jungle, you have to kind of choose, and you have to be like, okay, I'm gonna gank a lot, but I also have to farm so I don't fall behind. So this just comes with experience. After you've played like multiple games, you're gonna realize how much experience you're gonna get from this gank and how much value it's gonna get for your team and yourself. So I think it's just a balance that you learn with experience.
Another question I have, since I used to jungle a lot as well. So if you see one guy keeps dying and dying and dying,
you stay the hell away from that lane.
You just ignore it, right?
Yeah, that's for sure. Like, you can, if he dies once, he's still not out of the game. If he dies twice, he's kind of out of the game. You should be looking for other options, but you can still save him, like, depending on how he plays, you know. But if he dies 3 times, I mean, what I like to do, I just watch like how they die. If he just dies like in a 1v1, right, like a really stupid way, like this guy just dies level 2, you know, like level 3 or something, then I'm like, this guy is not a good player and he's not worth investing time in. So resources. I'm just like, hey, good luck, man. Like, I'm sure you're a great player or whatever the hell you are, like in your mind, but I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm gonna go to mid lane. But I think the only important thing, like in solo queue, is probably ganking mid lane, because every mid laner is like mentally weak, so they always break down if you gank them twice.
So you said you're saying mid is the best lane to invest in.
Mid lane is the lane to go.
How important is vision in solo queue as a jungler?
I think it's one of the main keys as a jungler. I think if you get like if you have good vision, then you can see where the enemy jungler is. Like, if you put a ward really deep into the enemy jungle, then you can predict where he's gonna go. And if you see him on a ward, it's a lot easier to counter gank or, you know, counter his next play. But if you don't have any vision, then you just have to, like, you know, just guess and then hope that he's not there when you go for a gank. I think vision it's always important, but it's not that important. Like, I know just because I'm a professional jungler, I think it's like really important, and I have like kind of a hard-on for vision because I think it's like the most important thing in the game. But if I'm being honest, like in solo queue, vision really doesn't matter, because even if you put down the wards, then your laners don't really care that you have the vision, so they just ignore it, even if they see the jungler on a ward running into your lane and ganking. So I would say it's nice with the best way to put it is it's nice with vision, but if you don't have it, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, I like the analogy that a ward is pretty much a wall hack, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It is wall hack. Like, you can see where the enemy team is without, you know, having to be there in person. So I think that's why I really think vision is like so important, because it opens up opportunities in the game. Because if you have vision and you can see what the enemy team is doing, then you can counter it, and you can you can mess them up. You can just counter. Yeah, you can fuck them up. Like, if you know where they're going, then you can counter it and you can fuck them up and you can destroy them. But if you don't know where they're going, you just kind of have to predict what they're doing and hope that it pays out. But guess what? The enemy team might have vision on you as well, and they know that you're going to counter. So they're going to counter your counter into another counter. No, I'm just kidding. But you get my point, right?
Counterception. Yeah.
So maybe rank the 3 parts of jungling in the order that is most important. So ganking, counter jungling, and farming.
I would say number 1 is in solo queue here.
Yeah, solo queue.
Yeah, number 1 is probably ganking. The number 2 is counter jungling, and number 3 is farming. It's just about applying pressure onto the enemy jungler and the enemy laners. That's like the most important part. So that's why I would rank them. Yeah.
What if your laners are doing really bad? Do you still counter jungle?
No, that is not a good idea. I've learned from I have a lot of experience in that, where I go invade without my laners having push, so I just end up getting collapsed on and I just die and throw the game. But if you see the enemy laner has like all pushing lanes, then you should at least have 1 pushing lane, or else the enemy team has Coma who's drafting. But if you have 1 pushing lane, you can always play around that. That's like kind of what League of Legends is right now. It's just about what lane can push, and that's what you play around. So if top lane can push, you try go counter jungle topside, And if bot lane can push, try counter jungle bot side. But if no one can push, like really, really worst case scenario, then I would just suggest you stay in your jungle and look for ganks.
Do you communicate with your teammates a counter jungle beforehand? Like you said, I want to counter jungle there. Can you please push? Or you just do it?
Yeah, I always try to do it like 30 seconds in advance or 15 at least. I say like, hey, I want to go in here. Can you guys try to get push? Then they start like getting pushed, and then we go together, you know. And then I say what I need from them. Because sometimes when I have a winning jungle matchup, I just tell them, hey, I just want you guys to match the enemy laner. Just make sure they can't move. And then I'll take care of the rest, so I can just like fuck the enemy jungler up. As long as they just match the enemy laner. So that's like kind of my communication.
How helpful would it be if Riot implemented the voice chat in solo queue?
I think it would be really helpful, honestly. I think everyone would be like really try hard because, you know, online everyone is like really cool and stuff, and they're like pretending to be like flaming and being badass. But I think like 90% of the people don't really dare to flame in voice chat. So I think it would just be a really try hard atmosphere, and everyone would just be like, oh yeah, we can go here. Oh, okay, yeah, we can try. It's okay. Because I remember there was like this as many times, you know, when I played solo queue. And some guys like, hey, can we play, do you want to play duo? And then we play duo, and my duo part is like inting his ass off, you know? Like if I wasn't duo with him in voice chat, I would probably just write, you know, like pretty toxic stuff. I mean, I don't write it now, but I mean, like I'm saying back in the days, you know? Like you would write like toxic stuff, but in voice chat, this guy's like 06, you know, and everyone is flaming him, but I'm like, yeah, it's okay.
It's fine. We can still win.
We can still win, you know.
Maybe.
Even though you wanna flame the shit out of him. So I think just the voice chat in League would probably be really helpful for people to try hard in solo queue. But for me, at least, I really hate voice chat because, you know, I spend all day playing scrims and I play in voice chat with my teammates and we like really try hard. Solo queue for me is more something where I can relax a bit and just play and enjoy the game League of Legends and just play a bit and try new things. Just enjoy myself. I don't want to have like too try hard of an atmosphere, like where I voice chat everything, and you know, I'm still a human. I can't try hard all day.
Can you explain the items a little bit, like trinket? Do you change it to a specific trinket always, and also with the smite items? Yeah. Do you always go with the blue one, the red one, or?
I think 90% of my cases I always go red one because it really helps you win the 1v1s against the enemy jungler, or when you gank. It's kind of the most efficient jungle item. I think blue one is okay, maybe with Evelyn, because you can't really proc an auto attack with her. You can, but it's like really difficult. So you just go blue one and burst instead and slow them down. But with the trinket items, I just kind of have a rule. So if you're winning, then I like to change to Oracle Lens pretty early, like at level 7 or 8. And then I just like take the enemy jungle enemy vision instead of like putting my own. But if I'm losing, I kind of hold on to my trinket ward until level 9 at least. And I just put down vision. Because back in the days, or now they made like a patch where you can buy Oracle Lens really early. But it wasn't really worth buying the Oracle Lens how it was before. So I always just buy it at level 9 when you can upgrade it. But before that, you just have yellow trinket. So I think that habit kind of stays with me, where I just keep holding on to the yellow trinket until I'm level 9.
There was also a change in the patch notes with the Poro Ghost mastery.
Yeah.
Do you think it will be maybe viable for jungling?
The Poro Ghost? I think it's just so useless. The Poro Ghost. It doesn't really add anything, because as soon as someone steps into that bush, it just disappears. And also if you step into another bush, then guess what?
But you get the burst. But you get the burst damage now, or not?
Wait, I honestly didn't.
Oh,
I don't remember the Ghost Poro. Yeah, I don't remember.
They changed it. I think there's some condition, and then after that is fulfilled, you get like a added damage burst on the first auto attack you have.
Huh. I'm gonna have
you're not playing on Poro? You're not playing on this patch, right? This week?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
I don't really pay too much attention to the patch notes for this week.
Just for the listeners, because otherwise it would sound like really bad if a professional player doesn't know the patch notes. But
Yeah. No, I always read them, but I mean, when I play LCS that week, I just tend to not put in too much focus on it in my head for these patch notes.
so with the
I just tend to read them.
so with the scrims,
Yeah.
do you play on an old patch?
Yeah, we always play on the old patch.
So
in,
there's
Scrim. Like the same patch that we're gonna play on in LCS. So if a
there's
patch
like
is
a-
on Wednesday, then we always play on the previous patch, and then we play on the next patch the next next week.
It's another server then, I guess.
Yeah, it's on tournament server.
Yep.
Yeah. Memento, from your perspective, what do you think are common mistakes jungler make?
I think the common mistake junglers make is probably trying to do too much, where they end up like trying to gank so much that they end up falling behind, or they're trying to help too much, you know? I think a general rule should be that you only try help 2 lanes. If you try help 3 lanes, then you're gonna eventually get fucked over by the enemy jungler. Like, you can't be top lane and bot lane and mid lane at the same time. So what I see a lot of mistakes like the junglers do is that they really invest a lot of time in ganking, which makes it really, when they show on the map, it gives me like so much information what camps they have left or what their next move is. So I can really like make their game, I can solo win the game just from seeing the enemy jungler in mid lane, like if he goes for a gank, because I know what camps he has up. But in solo queue, I would just say that's pretty much like the biggest mistake. People just forget to farm and they just try to gank too much, and when it doesn't succeed, they just end up falling behind so much that they end up solo losing the game.
Can you maybe rank the lanes as well? Like, which is the
most
favorite
important
ones to gank?
I think top lane is the easiest one to gank, and then mid lane, and then bot lane. Bot lane is the hardest one because there are two people with 4 summoner spells, which is kind of hard to like get a successful gank unless your bot lane is already like hard traded with them, and it's like really easy then. But I think I would mostly just stay to top and mid.
Okay.
But in solo queue, I think bot lane ganks are like really easy.
And they're also the
bot lanes are
most
just-
rewarding one, right?
Yeah, they are.
Because
But
you
also
usually
the
can
most,
get Dragon out
risky
of
ones.
it. And
Yeah, or the bot tower. But that's the thing. Like, it's the high risk, high reward. Because if you fail and they like turn around, and guess what? If the enemy jungler's there, then you just end up. Then it can just go so wrong.
then you have 2 people flaming you instead of just 1.
Yeah, exactly.
So you already said like jungling is a lot about prioritizing. How is it in your team, ROCCAT? Is there one player in your team that needs help a lot more than others?
No, not necessarily. I think we all have like a pretty equal side of helping, because it just depends on our lane matchup. So if our top lane is playing a carry, then we help him like a lot more. Like everything we do as in our team, we do it as a team, So if we're gonna help top lane, then I get help from mid lane as well, and he comes top lane. We like really invest in one side of the map depending on their matchups. But I think Prophet does get a lot of help because he's also the smartest one on our team about the game. So we do like to like set him up. But then at times bot lane is really consistent and they always, do their job. So it's always nice to be able to play around all 3 lanes. I have options, So if top lane maybe does badly one game, then I can always turn to bot lane and get help from them. Yeah. And then mid lane is always like a stable pillar. It's just a general rule for competitive and in solo queue. That's why I said like about mid lane, because everything goes through mid lane. If you get your mid laner ahead, then this guy can help top lane, he can help bot lane, because he's in the middle of the map. This guy can go anywhere. So that's why I really emphasize on like how important it is to help your mid laner, because he can solo win the game.
Is that the best duo queue as well as a jungler?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay,
for sure.
So duo queue, you can play with another friend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so always mid lane. I just camp him, give him a level 2 gank, and just play with him. Roam together, go bot lane together, stuff like this.
Be nice to your mid laner. It's cool.
But in competitive, it's also important what your win condition is, right?
Yeah, of
based
course.
on that,
Always.
where you give the resources and try to protect someone.
Is jungling the hardest role in the game?
Yeah, for sure. It is. Because as a jungler, you need to know all your laners' matchups, and you need to know what every laner need, and you also need to track the enemy jungler, what he's doing and where he is, and you also need to track your own jungling and how you're gonna path, and you gotta focus on farming as well, and also assisting your laner. You need to like find a balance, and it's the jungler has to have so much knowledge about the game to actually, you know, succeed. Because you could see like in TSM they had Mike Young last split, and this guy was clearly really stupid, right? Like he didn't really have any game knowledge, I think. So it really like showed off on him. And I think if you have a jungler who's a rookie who doesn't really understand the game, then it really like shows, you know, because the jungle is the most important role in the game. And also if a jungler fucks up, you also throw the game alone. So I think it is for sure. Yeah, exactly, the X factor. So I think it's for sure the hardest role in the game, and also the most rewarding one.
You should change your summon name to Weapon X.
Yeah, maybe.
So let's talk about the status of jungling in the current meta.
Yeah.
Maybe I start with 2 questions. So how important is the crab still? And what are the top champions to climb right now? In solo queue?
Okay. I can start with the top champions. I think right now the top champions are Camille jungle. Talia is really strong as well. Nocturne is insanely strong. They're like really easy to climb with, just because no one cares about, you know, everyone disrespects like how easy it is to gank with these champions, especially like Camille. So it's so easy to get really fed on her.
But with Talia, it's easy to gank. I mean, you need to hit the.
Talia is more. She's also really easy to gank with, but also she's like really good at 1v1s, and she has like insane burst potential. But I think her biggest strength in the jungle is how fast she can move around the map, because she has like her passive, which is slides on walls or surfs. So she can move like from, you see her bot lane in 1 second, then she's like top lane in 15 seconds. And that's kind of like what makes her so broken. And also her like jungling is pretty strong. But also, so those are like probably my two go to. Also, oh yeah, Kindred. I forgot about this champ. Yeah, this champ is really broken as well. It's just real nice. Her jungling is really easy. It's not that hard, and the champion isn't hard as well. The base damage she has is just really above average, and it's like a second AD carry kind of, so you can really solo carry on these champs as well.
But you're really squishy.
Yeah, that's the only thing, but it's kind of like high risk, high reward. If you play it good, then you're gonna solo carry the game. If you play it bad, then you're probably gonna solo lose the game because you're a useless piece of, a squishy piece of shit.
You also need to press your ult, right?
Yeah, that's important as well. I forgot to do that in the Splice game, but
yeah,
that's
what I was referring to.
Yeah. It's quite unfortunate.
What about Wukong, since I'm a Wukong main?
Ooh, I think Wukong, they just nerfed him this patch, but he was really broken before, I think. I think he has some really high base stats. Like he can, like even when he's behind, this guy has one-shots your carries anyways. Like I think it's just a strong champ in top lane, but it's also, like the thing about Wukong is that he's kind of like a coin flip champion, so I don't think he'll ever work in competitive. But I think in solo queue, he's just really broken. Everyone gets really surprised by how much damage he deals.
What do you mean with coin flip champion?
So either
coin flip champ is what I mean is that you either get really ahead on the champion and it's really useful, but if you don't succeed on getting ahead, then it's gonna be like so useless, the champion. And this is a coin flip champ. Like a coin flip is a strategy where you like base on an all-in that has to work, and if it doesn't work, if the game is just 50-50, then you're going to be a lot more useless than the enemy team.
But isn't it the same with Nocturne?
I think Nocturne, he has so many, like Nocturne has really, really good like clear in his jungle, and I think after level 6, like even if you fall behind early, maybe you die twice or something, or 4 times, I don't know, worst case. But as soon as you get your ulti, the enemy team are like really bad playing around the ulti of Nocturne, so you will guaranteed get fed in this way, because someone is gonna make a misstep. An AD carry on enemy team, he's gonna be walking through mid lane, and and he just gets one shot by you. Because they're also like his base damage is also really strong, because his Q gives him extra AD, and like if you combine it really well, then you can Q while ulting at the same time, so you get like extra damage.
So based on that, wouldn't BTF like really strong in mid lane? Since you can
on the global thing, TF mid lane is really strong in solo queue. Like his ulti is just really good.
So TF Nocturne is the ultimate combo.
Yeah, that would be pretty broken. But I think also you don't want to get too much globals, because it sounds nice on paper, like, oh yeah, we can have TF and Nocturne, we can be everywhere, but then if you focus too much on that, then you might just end up.
But he can also stun for you during your ganks.
Yeah, that's why I think he's really good in mid lane as well.
So
like he's just.
So do you like if solo laners take champions with CC?
Yeah, I love that. I love it when my top laner picks Maokai or something, and then I just go top lane and collect the free kill. Because it's just so much. It makes the game like so much easier, Like if your laner has 1 CC, then it's just so easy to gank, and you can really snowball the game from there.
What about the crab?
The crab I think it's kind of overrated, but it's still really strong. I think you should aim to get at least 1 crab in the early game. So if you usually put a ward early, and you can see what crab the enemy jungler goes for. So if you do have a losing jungle matchup, you can just decide to go bot side crab if he goes top side, or the other way around. I think the second crab it's really good. I think it gives a lot of experience, but I don't think it's like game breaking, like, oh my god, he got this crab, it's over, It's never like this. I think it's just a nice thing to have. And if you're winning the game, it's nice to just snowball and take these crabs and just get ahead in XP, get to level 6 first.
Based on that, can you give us like a basic jungle route for both sides?
Yeah, the most basic one is probably going red, depending on what champion you're playing. But if you're playing a Nocturne, usually what I do, I just do red buff into Raptors. And then from Raptors, I just go to bot side crab or top side crab. It depends. Like if I'm blue side, I go red Raptors, and then I go top side crab. Okay. And then I just then I just eat the rest of my jungle, like blue Gromp and wolf.
So you always start at the red buff?
Yeah, pretty much in solo queue.
Because
unless my bot lane is like Ezreal Soraka, then I'm like, yeah, I'm never touching that lane because it's so ungankable, because there's like no CC at all. So then I just like get a leash from them. And the other pathing is also you can do blue into Gromp, and then you should be done around 2 minutes when the crab spawns, and then you can just eat the crab what side you're on. So if you're red side, you eat blue Gromp and then bot side crab. And if you're blue side, you eat blue and Gromp and top side crab. It's like so close to the crab, so you can just eat that one and then just keep pathing towards bot side or wherever you want to go.
So the reasoning why you start red buff, is it maybe that if you meet the enemy jungler, you're stronger than him since you have the red buff?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay,
yeah,
so
exactly.
Is that the main reason, or?
I mean, yeah, it is the main reason, but it's also just a really nice buff to have in the early game if you want to look for a gank.
But it's also
depends,
risky,
like,
right?
For me,
if the top laner doesn't want to help you?
But not necessarily, because you put down a ward early, like at level 1, and you can see if the enemy jungler is coming or not. And I think, honestly, like for me, pathing, it doesn't matter about red buff or blue. It's just about, I just path depending on my laner where I have push. So I would say if your bot lane is like really useless, then I would just start bot side and go towards top side to my strong side of the map so I can contest the crab.
Okay, that sounds reasonable. But I mean, the risk was like that the top laner doesn't want to help you, and you have to do the camp by yourself.
Yeah, but
I mean, that happens sometimes.
I mean, bot lane, it happens so many times. Like bot lane are always like
they help.
Their ego. Yeah, like that's the kind of biggest difference between Korea and EU. In Korea, the support is like tanking 3 hits, and he's like using spells, and the AD is like staying there until your red buff is 200 health. But in the EU, people are like, well, we're not leashing. Like, I refuse to leash. We're gonna 2v8 this game. Like in EU, everyone is just playing for themselves. But I also heard that this is the case in Korea because there was a time where if people don't leash, the Korean junglers would just go AFK. So it's just like a hostage situation. So now every Korean is like giving the best leash. And if you give like a bad leash, then the Koreans are like just flaming their laners, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that's really cool. And I think that's how it should be in EU.
I play Zyra support most of the time, so I give the best leashes, man. The plant is just tanking
You're the real MVP.
Yes. So,
Memento, any last words to the upcoming and ambitious junglers out there?
Yeah, I would just say try to be mentally strong and be patient with your learning curve. Don't take all the flame into consideration, because a lot of flame is like unjustified, where they say like, "Hey, what the fuck, man?" And some laners like dies 1v1 and blames you. Like, just I think the most important thing, I read this like from Amazing as well. He said it in an interview in season 4 or 5. He said, "Listen to your laners, but listen to yourself as well. Like, take everything your laners are saying, like, hey, no flash here, but also you should focus on your own decision making. Like, oh, he's no flash. Can I gank it? Yes, I can. You know." And then you like just listen to your laners, but don't follow them. That's what I would say.
So one last question: Is jungling the best role to climb in solo queue?
Jungle and mid are for sure the best roles to climb. Those are the most impactful roles in the game right now. So if you really want to climb, then play mid and jungle.
Yep. Cool. So now we are perfectly geared up to become the perfect jungler.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You all have it in you.
You want
to
talk about what's recent for Team ROCCAT at the moment?
Like last week, how the matches go and.
Last week we played versus UL and Fnatic. It was a bit of a choke against Fnatic, which kind of sucked. We didn't really play League of Legends. This week we have a tough schedule, facing Misfits and G2. So we're looking for a quick 2-0 over them, and it's gonna be some very interesting matches. I think it's a really important week for Team ROCCAT, because this is the time where we have to show that we can match up against these top teams and that we are not just a bottom tier team or a mid tier team.
I mean,
so
it would be really ROCCAT-like to go 1-1 against everybody, and then in the toughest we would go 2-0.
Yeah, that would be cool. For now, we've only gone 1-1 every week. So
yes, the Kingslayer.
I'm down for a 2-0 week. Oh yeah, the Kingslayers are back.
And I actually think this year, or this split, Friday is stronger than Saturday, right? So far?
Yeah, I think so too.
So
yeah,
there was
the last split, it was Saturday. That was the strongest.
Yes.
So ROCCAT on Fridays would just like run it down, and then on Saturdays we just come back and play clean macro and just dominate.
So like this week is the other way around. So it was just a meme in the team that it's just a Friday game, but
yeah, exactly.
That meme is dead, huh?
Yeah, now we're looking to have a good game on Friday and Saturday. That's what we're aiming for right now.
Put everything together.
Yes, exactly. So we can actually become a complete team.
Yes, and make worlds.
Yeah.
Yes.
ROCCAT making worlds for the first time. There will be quite some historic changes.
Okay. What do you want to bet?
I want to bet about ROCCAT making worlds.
Want to bet on it?
I think I'm just gonna bet for playoffs right now, and then I'll take step by step. Playoffs, and then from there on I will move up.
Okay.
It's probably the best kind of mindset to have.
But yeah, we shouldn't bet since we're for the same team. So
yeah, exactly.
Nobody wants to bet against ROCCAT, right?
Yeah,
Right?
they better not.
We are not allowed to. We are not allowed to. Very nice.
Yeah, that was really insightful. I will play solo queue the whole night today. And
Yeah, you're probably gonna climb all the way to Master Tier.
So I'm
like in one day.
I'm plat 2 right now. I will try to get diamond.
And use the tips. Yeah.
Yes, do it indeed.
Yeah.
I think it should be quite helpful.
Cool.
I think you'll make it.
Memento, thanks very much for your time.
No, thank you.
We wish you a successful week, and have a nice day, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was really nice to come back here and to be on the podcast again.
You're always welcome.
Enjoyable.
Yeah. Always welcome here.
I hope your
You
fingers
guys have a nice day as well.
I hope your finger is okay.
Yeah, I think it was good.
I mean your finger.
What about your finger?
Oh, my finger?
Ah, the
What about
boat
my
thing.
finger?
We had a team activity when we were near Berlin at a beautiful sea on a boat, and Memento hurt his finger. But I don't want to tell too much because there will be a video going online in the next days, which will show the dramatic story. Yes.
Yeah, actually, stay tuned for that. That's some very interesting stories, actually.
When Memento turned into
it was quite the
Vladimir.
day. It was quite the adventure, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah, Memento turned into Vladimir. Thanks. Bye bye.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Bye.
Wukong, Tian, is your main.
Yes, of course.
Does it have something to do with the fact that you're a Dragon Ball fan?
No,
Sounds a
it
bit
goes
like
way before that. Since Dragon Ball is also based on a Chinese
yes, on
mythology,
the Chinese story.
the journey to the west.
Yeah.
So I always liked the Monkey King. And actually, yeah, when it became when they announced Wukong in League of Legends, I only played him.
Nice.
I think I used to be top 100 Wukong in the world.
Really?
Yeah, or even higher.
What was your highest rank?
Diamond 2 promo to Diamond 1.
Wow.
But I lost the last match, so I never. And then I started here actually.
Yeah.
And I didn't have time to play anymore.
You started to work
Yes, it was
for
my
ROCCAT.
time in between studies and working where I got Diamond 2.
Yeah. All right. Follow ROCCAT on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram. If you got questions for us, to our team, just send us a tweet. Hashtag esports rockstars. Please give us an iTunes rating, 5 stars, to keep us, to make us stay in the iTunes podcast charts. And you can listen to that show, of course, via YouTube, Spotify, and like always, the podcast app of your choice. See you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.